How are you being tracked? How are you being spied on? How do they know so much about where you go, what you do, and what you say? In this video, I will cover the most popular ways people use your cell phone to track you and spy on you. That is right, your very own cell phone may be the tool your ex is using to track your every move. See all of your texts, read all of your emails, and even see what you're doing right now. Tracking a cell phone's location is not rocket science, folks. It does not require a degree in computer science, and it is one of the easiest ways we're seeing in our TSCM bug sweeping business of people being tracked. All they really need to know is what app is the right app to use and have a little bit of knowledge in how to utilize it for their stalking needs. Here is the easiest way people track their spouses, their significant others, and yes, even their exes. All they need is a little access time to the phone, and in many cases, this little feature they use is used to help keep your phone safe in case it gets lost or stolen. This special feature is called the Find My Device feature on Android phones and Find My App for Apple devices. Now, this feature is really cool for many reasons. I lost my phone, yes, my work phone one day, and I was completely freaked out and panicking about it. All my emails were on that phone. My text communications with my clients and even access to my confidential cases was available on my phone. Now I keep my phone locked down pretty tight with pins and passwords and other security features like fingerprint recognition, but still, losing my phone was like losing my entire business, or at least it felt that way. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. The dumbest part of it was I had set my phone on top of my car while I was preparing to leave and forgot all about it until I got about 2 miles away. When I realized it was missing, I backtracked my path but was not able to locate it anywhere. I was driving and walking all over for what seemed like hours to no avail. Then I remembered I had my Find My Device turned on, so I went back to the office, logged into Google real quick on my computer, and I was able to find where my phone was, or at least the general area of where it was. I went to that area and started knocking on the doors. In the second house I went to, a nice lady said, "Oh, my 5-year-old son found a phone laying by the driveway when he got home a little bit ago." What a relief. But if my wife wanted to track me and she knew my login for my Google account, well, all she would have to do is log in at any time on any computer, laptop, tablet, or another phone and run the Locate My Device app, and she would see my every move. And if your husband or wife has this access, then you got separated. Well, guess what? Yes, they can still track your every move. And the craziest thing about this is that the phone doesn't even have to have phone service for it to work. It can identify your location if your phone is logged into a Wi-Fi network, and in many cases through Bluetooth devices and the apps associated with those devices. And then there is an even scarier part of this feature that very few people think about. You can use this Find My Device app on any Android phone to erase everything on the phone. Yep, they could use this app to essentially perform a full factory reset, thus removing all of your data, all of your apps, all of your contacts, everything. And they could use this app to make the phone play sounds. This is used to locate a missing phone, but we have had many clients tell us their phone keeps making noises or vibrating and they can't figure out why. And they can use this app to lock the phone. That is right, they can lock you out of your very own phone. Then they can be the hero when they solve your problems, or they can just leave you locked out forever. In my TSCM bug sweeping business, we have tens of thousands of dollars in equipment to help us look for hidden GPS trackers, Wi-Fi trackers, hidden cameras, and audio recorders. But finding phone trackers, laptop trackers, tablet trackers, that requires a very close examination of the device by a professional, and many times it requires a computer forensic examination. Now, the Find My Device trick is a more common way to track someone, so a lot of people use a sneakier method like installing parental control apps like AirDroid on the phone. These types of apps are made, well, they say they are made to help you keep track of your child and what they are doing. But many times these things are used for more nefarious purposes, such as tracking a spouse, a significant other, or even an ex. And the name of the app may sound like a needed app for the system. Think about it. If you see an app called AirDroid and you never heard of it, you might think it is a normal system app on an Android phone. But these types of apps not only track locations, but they will also allow the other person to see the phone's screen. So now they can see everything you do, what games you play, what websites you visit, what messages and emails you get, and what phone calls you make. Now, the AirDroid app is just one example. There are many other apps like this, and some that are even more evasive. Some of them are disguised like games or regular cell phone apps, so they are completely hidden to anyone examining the phone. Again, these are made, or so they say, for parents to help keep an eye on their children and help protect them, but I would guess that most of their customers are not using it for that intended use. And most of these apps cost a little bit of nothing, like a few dollars, and most of them have some free trial periods so you can check it out and see if it works. This trial period works as a good guide too, as the spying person can put it on your phone, use it for the 1 week trial period, then it just shuts itself off and it is not working any longer. You run across it, then you will just assume it is some bloatware installed by the manufacturer or the phone company and just uninstall it. Another one that is very common is the Find My Friends app or Find My Family app. These are obviously intended for the sole purpose of helping you find, well, your friends and your family. And most times people forget this even on their phone. So long after the app is installed, long after the relationship is over, they still have full access to see where you are at any given time. Here is a little known trick that someone can use without ever installing a single app on the phone. All they need to do is add their Google account to the phone. That is right. They can add their account, sign in as themselves, and then they can use a special feature built right into the phone. That special feature is called Google Maps. Yep, they can log in and use Google Maps for location sharing, do a new share, and then add themselves to the share. Now when they go to their phone, tablet, computer, whatever, they can now see where you are because they are logged into your phone. And in many cases, even if the phone is logged back in as you, well, that location sharing is still working for all accounts on the phone. Is that scary or what? But there is one way to help protect yourself from these tracking methods that usually works, but it can be a bit painful. I will first say, though, if you need proof that your device is being tracked, then seek legal counsel, seek a competent computer forensic specialist that can do a full forensic examination of the phone. If you don't need that, then what you can do is a full factory reset of the device. But wait. Before you just reset the device, make sure you take a few preparation steps. First, back up all needed and wanted files like photos, documents, anything like that. Doing a factory reset will erase everything on the phone forever. I suggest backing these up to your computer or another physical device, not to your phone's cloud like Google Drive. Make sure you back up all contact info too, so you have all of your friends and family members' information for future reference. Next, go through all the apps on your phone and uninstall all the installed apps you do not recognize or remember installing. Now you can do the factory reset, but there is one other very important step during this process to help protect yourself after the factory reset. That one step is to use a brand new login and ID with a very secured password. This is the most painful part for many people, as they will not be able to just log in with their old account and have it pull all of their favorite apps, contacts, text messages, and other stuff. If you want to be even more secure, then get a brand new phone and use a brand new login and ID. Now, what if you don't want to go through all of that? What if you don't want to lose any information? What if you need your phone intact with all of your data, contacts, messages, and everything else? Well, then you need to, at the very minimum, change your password to something very secure, something you have never used before, and something that cannot be guessed. But first, uninstall all those apps you do not recognize, just in case they're watching you while you're doing it. Then go have a computer forensic review of your phone and make sure it has not been rooted, jailbroke, or hacked in any other way. Another huge risk is having a GPS tracker on your vehicle, and I made this video right here to help you find those nasty trackers, so check it out now.